Hello everyone and welcome to Masters of Dungeons. Today we're playing the 10th session of the yet-to-be-named Illios campaign because I am an incredibly lame DM. By the way, my name is DM Moley. That's right, DM is in the name. And let's start with introducing our players, starting from my left to right, aka Logan.
Hey everyone, my name is Logan. I'm playing Illigith the Lionheart. He is a Goliath, paladin of Ilmater. Wesley, Ryan.
Playing Noki, the Gnomish Gunslinger.
Yeah, we have to save the best for last, Logan, obviously. I'm Wesley. I'm playing Malvadrian von Silas.
Ranger with a twist. Alright, let's get right into it.
Ready. You see the camera pan from the outstretched hand of what is assumed to be Dante. The unkept, fiery red hair and beard of a bigger gnome comes into view, his face set in stone. He will not be threatened again, not in his guild, and certainly not in his home. The camera zooms out, still focused on this gnomish gunslinger. With lightning fast hands, 1 second they're by his side, the next they're under his oversized shirt. Where his friends know his guns are kept and stored out of view. In the same instant, his hands are back in view. This time, there's a pistol in each, two beautiful pieces, engraved, polished, and definitely kept nice and clean, unlike the owner of these guns. These are Noki's pride, his own hard work. 4 shots are fired, one after the other. Only a split second between each shot. The sound of the blast echo into the small room. Before anyone can react, another 4 shots come flying out of these mastercraft pieces of art. Okay.
I think we're getting some dice rolled.
Yeah, alright. The lowest is 19 to hit. With 1 crit in there.
Who are you talking?
Of course you. How do you roll a crit on the first turn, first action?
Because he's on his home turf.
Because of the epic intro.
Ryan has rolled more crits.
Hush now.
Okay.
You roll 8. You have 8 shots. Your chances are pretty high.
Who are you aiming at?
Dante, or the big guy in front of me.
Alright.
I believe he just said, I will be taking that, or something to that tune.
19 is definitely right. Or 19, the lowest, definitely hits.
Hey.
Roll that insane amount of damage for me.
I'm using all 3 points of my grit for violent shot, which give me 3 more damage dice.
And also add a chance of destroying your guns.
So that's going to be 11d10. Modifier times 8.
What?
So total damage is 111.
I want you to describe to me what this looks like as you blow literally half of this guy's body away.
So, from what I said, you see Noki fire these 8 shots, but you don't see any of them land. The camera slowly turns back to who we assume to be Dante. and his abdomen and his torso is just torn to pieces as each shot makes contact, ripping through him. Intestines and other organs falling out in front of him.
Also with that, Dante, this huge man, this huge muscular man, robed in perfect white leather armor and celestial raiments, is now stained in black blood as he flies across the wall. Flies into the wall. The reverberations echoing throughout this study of jaunt ones that y'all are in. The walls begin to shake. You're here. All you can hear is the sound of the gunshots ringing in your ears as this giant man with, like Ryan said, his abdomen and torso just completely ripped apart, intestines falling out, slumped against the wall, with half of his face also missing, as the two seekers that were beside him mask themselves. You don't know their expressions. You can almost assume from their body language that it's complete shock and amazement at the display in front of them right now. Yoki, go ahead and take a point of inspiration for that intro.
Thank you.
And for starting us off fucking strong.
Just a little bit.
So I believe it is Malvadrian's turn.
How do you follow that? So basically, just in order to pay my respects, just to the carnage that just took place, I feel like Malvadrian, whose battle senses had just kind of strummed up for a fight, he intensively went for his crossbow. And then Ryan, so what you fired your like scatter shotgun thing, right? The first time you shot it, right?
No, I don't have that yet. I fired both of my pistols. Unloaded both.
Okay. Sorry. And I just kind of like this kind of like machine gun rapid fire, like 8 shots, just kind of ring through the air before he can even get his hand on his crossbow. And he's just in utter and complete shock. No one is more impressed than Malvadrian is, and he just kind of sits there and gawks at the butcher that we know as Gnocchi. And I'm going to defer my action till the end of the round just to be in awe of this rotund gnome. Just next, whatever, like 5 seconds, Malvadrian's just like at Gnocchi until the end of the round.
Heck yeah. Not to take away from Illigith, who is next, but I have to know, what is the look on Yoki's face right now?
His look almost doesn't change at all. It's still set in stone, serious as he was when he saw them appear in front of him. It's just now draped in blood.
Awesome. Illigith.
Illigith, immediately ready to defend the two companions on either side of him, kicks his shield up and in one swift movement equips it on his left arm, taking one step forward toward the two seekers. Which one of you is next? He says.
There is no response, only the gazes through their golden masks, the black slits.
I would also like to add that at the end of that, he flexes his right hand, knuckles cracking as a white, radiant light begins to glow.
They immediately take up defensive stances with their sabers in front of them, and you can see that they are visibly shaking. But they're shaking.
All right.
That was your turn?
Yeah.
All right. And so these seekers immediately in their defensive positions, you see a flash of gold, two flashes of golden light appear in front of them as two more seekers appear and immediately strike out at Illios and Yoki.
Who is well prepared.
Yes, he is. All right, so I believe that is one hit on Yoki and 2 hits on Illios.
Did you factor in my defensive stance?
Oh, no, I did not.
I put it in chat. Sorry to make things complicated.
No, you're fine.
But I didn't make a move.
Rip the crit I just rolled and the disadvantage. But one of them still does hit you.
Good.
All right. And so as the saber coated in golden flame pierces you, Illios, but only slightly, and it doesn't. Yeah, dealing eight piercing damage and 2 fire damage.
10.
Yep.
Very good.
All right. And Yoki, the other one, almost in an instant, you find this guy in front of you as he slashes you across the shoulder twice, and that will do.
So I'm gonna use my protection ability to cause you to have disadvantage as a reaction on one of those, as my shield comes to block for Gnocchi.
All right. And as the first slash makes contact, he goes around for another one, and is immediately smashed aside by this gigantic stone door shield, and he goes flying back 10 feet. The other 2 seekers who are not attacking look like they're preparing something. They take their sabers out, and instead of being coated in this golden light, there appears to be some kind of black ichor, some kind of black energy exuding from the blades, and they both immediately stab the body of Dante. And you see this black energy course through him. You see, let me go ahead and roll this first. You see the portions of his body that were missing, charred and blackened from the gunshots, slowly begin to reassemble but it's not like the flesh is growing back. The flesh is growing back, but as it does so, it is this black energy that looks like it is taking the place of the abdomen and the organs that he had lost. And you hear come from this giant man, and he shakily, with this black energy coiling around his right arm, stands to his feet, unsteadily and shaking. And he stares directly at you, Nyoki, and he says, "You will die for that." And I believe it is Malvadrian's turn now.
Okay, so when you attacked Illigith, you said there was fire damage.
Yes.
Is that similar to like a Halcyon's flame type of thing, or how is that damage? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. You would feel this is definitely the same. A kind of a sickening golden flame that you're used to from the Celestials.
Okay.
You're wielding the same type of magic.
Yeah. So I like to think that this is kind of the event that kind of brings Malvadrian kind of back into his senses from the kind of like the shock and awe of what happened prior. Once he feels that heat, that tingle of the celestial magic, something in him kind of like snaps, and the silver sigil that's on his hand, it's normally silver, and the slight silver tint that he has to his eyes because of that sigil turns this dark purple, almost like a void black type of purple, but mostly still purple. Because this is the first time he's really been in a combat situation with Celestials in a long time, at least a few months. And we don't get to see Malvadrian's favorite enemy all the time. So just kind of being around that magic awakens this weird, dark, and kind of twisted ferocity. And he looks to, so you said there were 2 that attacked Nyoki and Illigith, and then 2 that attacked, or 2 that kind of like resurrected the big kind of like mountain of meat dude.
Yes, the original 2 stabbed their sabers into Dante, essentially healing him and getting him back up with this black energy. You would actually, all of you would recognize that this is the same kind of black energy or mist that went into Dalton's sword when he stabbed Tornjaw 3 sessions ago.
And what is like the spatial arrangement of like what's like the distance between us and them, and the ones that are on Nyoki and Illigith versus the ones that kind of like resurrected the big dude?
Yeah, so there are spatial arrangements. Think they are stationed by where the door or where you came in. Dante and the original 2 seekers that resurrected him, and then the 2 that just suddenly appeared in a golden light jumped forward at them. Y'all are probably about 15-20 feet away from each other.
Okay. So are seekers a new thing that like he hasn't fought, like, so like in the war, I'm not 100% sure if like, so when I fought in the war, did I ever fight seekers, or is that like a totally like a different, like the first time I saw them was when I saw Dalton with 50 seekers at his back?
The only time you would have fought, or the only time you would have fought a seeker, is probably in battles before the battle of Serenity. Like maybe they were trying to like scout at your position, and you and Dalton back then would have found them. and stopped them in their tracks. I would have had a few scuffles with them, but there weren't any at the Battle of Serenity.
Okay, I was just curious. So kind of in a thing of more poetic justice instead of mechanical advantage, he slowly branches out his officer saber from his time in the military for the Hills of Maribor, for his people who were brutally killed, and kind of like in a ode to them, he's just gonna go to the nearest one and kind of like in a blind rage just slash 2 quick blows to whoever's closest by. Then with the bonus action, so let's see, the 14 hit one of the guys that's closest to him.
14 does not.
Okay, and then a crit. My first crit in combat. My first crit in combat. I've literally never critted in combat.
Couldn't think of a better time.
Oh, such a good day. Such a good day. Okay. And so with his bonus action before that, he cast Hunter's Mark. So how I kind of see that is he kind of was like looking at the most vulnerable spots. His eyes kind of like went over all the vulnerabilities of his enemy. And he found like the one chink or whatever. Okay. Freaking awesome. So max damage, right? And then you rolled again and you add the modifier.
Yep.
Okay, so I rolled an 8. The max damage is 8. So that's 16. And these my favorite enemy, so that's plus 4. That's 20. And then the original modifier plus 4, so that's 24. Not 121. But I'm okay with that. 24 points.
Is that including the Hunter's Mark?
Hunter's, oh, no, it's not. Thank you, Molly. Thank you. Thank you. Plus 5, 29.
All right. So you come at this guy in a blind rage, and he how quickly you're moving. He barely switches his attention. From Nyoki, and barely has time to block your first strike, but by then he's off balance, and you just slash or stab the shit out of him, and blood begins to pour from the slash across his chest, but you don't hear any audible noise from him as you stab in.
How I kind of see it is that Malvadrian's not really a strong guy. It was just like the sheer ferocity of that first blow, like just put his entire body into it, and he kind of like hit it and reverberated off the sword, and it kind of like staggered the guy backwards, and then he just kind of shouldered in and just kind of like got the guy like right in the stomach type of thing, like leaving it right open. Is just continuously like flashing this kind of like flint and steel, this little sword duel that's going on right now. And then at that, I end my turn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Does John Wayne do anything?
Yes. I was actually his turn. He's basically just there. And the entire time that huge Anacochum crystal in the room that is kind of floating up and down on its pedestal is just humming. And Jontwin, at what in front of him, gasps like, "What the hell is? What voice did I use for him? Fuck."
I get that. It's okay.
What the hell? What is going on? What? I can't remember. But he kind of runs back, and is trying to find cover behind one of the many desks that are scattered across his room. Papers and parchments and everything have just gone flying above the room. From the reverberations from the gunshot earlier, and he's just taking cover. He's like, "Oh damn, where is it? Where is it?" And that's what he does.
Alrighty. How far is the two seekers, the original ones?
20 feet away.
Alright. With his main hand, Noki puts his pistol back in its holster, and next to it, he pulls out his short sword, and he runs up to the original two seekers, reloading his pistol along the way. And he slashes twice at one of the seekers.
Left or right?
Left.
Their AC is 16, so you know.
22 and 13. He does 6 damage on his one hit, and then that's all he can do. He says, he looks up at the guy at his golden mask as he slashes away and says, "The butcher is back."
All right, and yes, once again he takes one step back, bring his in a defensive stance after you slashed at him. But once again, he does not say anything. There's no audible noise coming from him.
Hmm.
Molly.
I think Ilgath is next.
Oh yeah, sorry. It sounded like you were saying something else. So, my bad. Illios.
I'm gonna need you to explain to me the layout of the room right now. Illigoth's two concerns are Malvadrian and Yoki, so tell me what's going on.
The layout of the room. Would you like me to give dimensions and everything as well as positions?
No, I'm not concerned really with dimensions, but just
All
positions of enemies near allies.
All right. So positions. You have one seeker up on you, Illigoth. You pushed away another seeker that the Malvadrian is currently engaged with, and Yoki ran up to attack one of the seekers, one of the two seekers, and Dante is also right by those two. So Yoki is like right up there in the fray right now.
All right.
And
What?
I was going to add that the jaunt one is kind of off to the side of the big Anacalcum crystal, which is about 10 feet away from y'all. Just to let you know.
And the crystal's acting normal.
It's acting normally, but it is humming erratically, and it has not stopped.
All right. Emboldened by Nyoki's bravery, Ilgith and also mindful of Malvadrian's position, Ilgith is going to attempt to take hold violently of this seeker that is next to him. So I'm going to rolling an athletics check.
If you can. All right.
I see him. I mean, I'm reaching for the seeker's neck.
All right. I'll roll an opposed acrobatics. All right. What'd you get?
I just need to write a flat number. Plus 10, 23.
All right. Just beats their 22.
Okay.
Remember, you have expertise in that too. If you haven't.
Yes. That it's a plus 10.
All right.
So yes, Illigith reaches out, not looking at the seeker directly, but just his hand reaches out muscles tense, grabbing this seeker by the throat as he marches forward 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and makes it next to Gnocchi, the 2 seekers, and this abomination. He's going to attempt to smash this seeker into the seeker who has been untouched on the right. And that is a 22 to hit. And I'm just using my regular to hit for this, unless I need to do otherwise.
All right. Definitely hit. Their AC is 16.
Instead of doing some type of damage, I would like to attempt to have them both be prone now.
All right.
So the idea was to knock the one that I had in my grasp into the other and shove them backwards.
All right. All right, go for it.
How do you want me to do that? Since I
All right.
rolled to hit.
Yeah. So you rolled the hit. Go ahead and make me another athletics check. But you hit, so I want you to go ahead and deal unarmed damage to both of them. It'll just be the same roll.
Okay.
And depending on what you get on the athletics check, you roll in the.
So that will be 8 points of damage.
Right.
And I'm going to inspire this instead of critically failing. For 19.
On the athletics check?
Yes.
All right, beat him.
Yeah. Thank you, point of inspiration. So Illios just steamrolls this one seeker that he's grasped in his hand into the other one, sending them flying back. Bookshelf exploding in pages.
Damn. All right.
Hopefully sending them sprawling on the floor.
You definitely do. They're both rolling, smashing into these bookshelves, desks, and everything like that. You hear the crack of the bookshelves as they're demolished by these guys, and they keep on rolling, and they are both prone, right to the left of the crystal.
Okay, I guess I have the room backwards in my mind.
Oh wait, or maybe I.
Okay, where's the crystal? Have it where you thought it, but where's the crystal in reference to them?
Yeah, crystal's behind.
Okay, got it. Behind us?
Yeah, sorry, you threw him forward, didn't you?
Correct.
It was my bad. Okay, yeah, they go flying, and they're still only actually they're not very far from you at all. They slam into the freaking wall.
That's what I thought. That's why I was saying bookshelf.
Yeah, and they will take an additional 4 bludgeoning damage for being smashed into the wall as they go down, and they're currently trying to get to their knees, but they're still prone.
Okay, and I want to clarify that I did move my position directly next to Gnocchi.
All right. I did take note of that.
Okay.
All right. After Illios. Oh, just to make sure. When you defer initiative to the end, does your initiative just always stay at the end?
Correct.
All right. And so in front of you, this one seeker still to the left. Bounds back and tries to strike out at you again, Illios. All right, and he. Let me just make sure. All right, so he feints one way. Maybe your shield goes to try and block it, but instead he goes around it, and you take, let's see, and you take 9 points of slashing damage and 3 points of fire.
Okay. To my right arm, I'm guessing. You went around my shield or leg or abdomen?
Yes.
Which?
Your abdomen, sorry.
Okay.
You just take damage to all those places.
Please no.
Yeah. All right. And so Dante, this big guy who is just now completely on his feet, looks at the people in front of him, and he brings up his arms. This black energy spiraling around like tendrils, both of his arms, goes and smashes the ground in front of y'all. Yoki and Illigith roll dexterity saving throw.
20.
21.
All right.
The save of his life. Oh, that's both of ours are. I mean, Yoki's is at +2.
23.
Yoki's is at 23. Does the protection aura apply to the paladin?
Yes,
Then really?
I believe so.
That would be cool, and it kind of makes sense. Molly, I got it.
Right.
Protection aura. Aura of protection, 6th level. Whenever you're friendly, you or a friendly creature within 10 feet must make a saving throw. The creature gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to your charisma modifier. It does not say that the paladin does.
It says whenever you.
You. Yes, whenever you. Yes, okay. So that will be a 22 for Illigith.
Yeah. I was going to say something that Brian didn't.
Apologies.
All right. So this huge shockwave goes to the ground, and the ground beneath y'all crumbles as rocks. As rocks go everywhere. That missed. All right. Math is the best part of D&D. All right. So y'all both saved, correct?
I don't know what the DC was, but we rolled pretty high.
Yeah, the DC was 15.
Okay.
All right. So y'all saved, and so y'all only take 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and are not pushed back 20 feet.
Okay. 13.
Yes, 13. And he. Yes.
Can I say I'm going to when this happens, I would imagine that Illigith has his shield up in front of him and prepared, and as this tendril smashes in front of him, he bears down into the ground, sliding back only inches, and he attempts to shrug off this damage with a 1 for his Goliath shrug it off ability. So he's gonna negate 4 damage of that.
Yeah, I was like, it's still something.
But anyway, I see that as happening.
All right, what about you, Nyoki? How do you avoid taking the bludgeoning damage from the shockwave?
Noki's just on point. It's almost like he's predicting what's coming next from this guy. But before it even hits the ground, he's already jumping out of the way. He's focused.
All right, heck yeah, this might be the most focus I've ever seen, Nyoki.
Unless he's looking at food. That's what he.
I was gonna say at least since the first episode.
All right, the one seeker who is not prone, that was in the area, actually preemptively jumps up. Jumps up and actually sticks to the wall behind him about 10 feet up, and he jumps outward, trying to stab Gnocchi through the chest with his saber.
That's rude.
So I'm going to use my reaction to attempt to swat him away with my shield.
All right. All right. I do not believe a 15 hits you, Gnocchi.
It does.
It does?
Oh,
All
I
right.
haven't studied leather yet.
All right. All right, so let's go. Gnocchi, you take 11 slashing damage and 7 fire. As this thing pierces your right shoulder and goes through it, instantly cauterizing the wound from the flames. As he pulls it back out and jumps to the side, readying for defensive action. Mal, the seeker in front, the seeker in front of you, goes around you in a defensive position, circling you, and tries to stab out at you. But you're too quick for him, and you either dodge or parry it. All right. and Dante, seeing that his smashing the ground didn't work, and that y'all are still standing defiantly in front of him, and that you can actually see that the bottom right portion of his mask has been blown away from the gunshot earlier, and you can see the size of his mouth, and he ends in like a glower at you, and you hear. Of Adrian.
So there's only one guy on me, right? Or is there two?
One guy.
Okay. That's all I need. All right. 16 hits the guy, right? Or
Yes, 16 hits him.
okay, cool. You said he circled around me?
Yes, he was circling around you. I'm trying to find a weakness in your defenses, but he didn't find any.
Okie doke. Okay, so I hit twice. Okay, so the first that's 15 points of damage plus Colossus Slayer. 21 plus Hunter's Mark. Only one this time, 22. Okay, so the guy takes 22 points of damage. And so, kind of as this dance of steel is going down, of Adrian, who's usually more dexterous than he is, relies on his strength, is kind of giving into this like bestial like ferocity of very strong and kind of slow strikes, but just speedily kind of like overwhelming his opponent. And he's trying to like dance around him, I guess. But anyway, that's all I do this time.
Are you sure? Because how do you kill the seeker in front of you?
Why didn't you tell me I killed him after I said 22 points of damage, you jerk?
My bad.
Okay.
I was listening to your beautiful description.
I did pause. Okay, so kind of from that initial assault of that kind of brutish, like overhand strike, followed by the swift kind of like stab through the heart type of thing. I imagine he kind of emotionlessly like just kind of like moves himself off of the blade and tried to like circle around and hit him. And Malvadrian kind of like grabbed his hand, like the sword that's coming down, and he kind of like hamstrings him, like cuts him along the leg, like right where that hamstring is. And before he delivers the finishing blow, he hits off the guy's, or he attempts to take off the mask of the guy who's like down on his knee.
All right. So you do so, and you take off this mask. And what you see unnerves you. It might unnerve you. But what you see is there are literally, there's no face there. It's just a hunk of flesh with these veins pumping this black energy through them. Just like all around where the face should be on the head. And you see
this faceless face. Have we seen that before? That sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know if that's like from something else or if that's from this.
I would like to say the last thing that we saw that was faceless like this was the stone guardian that had a symbol on it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was what it was.
Yes.
Is there a symbol on its face, or just the black ichor vein highway thing?
Yes, and I'm the symbol that you see. God bless. Why don't I have a picture of this? Oh, I need to be more prepared. But what it looks like, basically, it's the same symbol that you saw on Zoe's forehead.
You just had to go there.
And the black glow, the blackish purple glow that is ebbing from this thing begins to die down. And you see that these black pulsing veins are actually runic circuits. As these die down, he falls to his knees and he falls.
No, he's not dead yet.
Oh,
Don't jump the gun.
oh, jumping the gun.
So last pre-cutscene, I cut like his little hamstring, and he's honestly took off his mask and saw this monstrosity. And seeing that symbol on his forehead, or where his forehead should be, renews that sense of anger and that primal ferocity that's like kind of raging inside him right now. And he feels this really intense like tingling in his left hand where the sigil is. And he kind of just, with his left hand, he kind of like grabs the guy's head where that symbol is, and just kind of burns into that, kind of like marring the symbol with his own symbol. And then just with his other right hand holding his officer's sword, he just drains him, just cuts him across the throat, and just kind of kicks over his lifeless body, and runs over to the next guy, whoever's his closest.
The closest seeker would be the one who is currently right on top of Gnocchi.
I throw into the fray on that one on my next turn.
All right, and we'll say this: when you cut his throat, this black ichor, this black blood, pours from the thing, and a pool begins to form around him as he lays on the ground. And you feel, as you move over to Gnocchi, you feel an intense burning pain in your chest. Which is conveniently right where the hag's mark is. But we'll find out about that next turn now, won't we? All right, so John... what he's doing, but he's still scrambling around in his desk in his parchments, and it's like, oh, here it is, here it is. And he brings out this strange looking amulet with a what looks like a more almost seems like it could be a chip of some kind of an anacalcum crystal within it, and he begins and he goes towards the crystal, and he begins chanting words in a language that Mal would recognize as a celestial. The amulet begins to glow, and the shaking of the giant anacalcum crystal is still humming erratically, but it seems that Mr. John Wayne is trying to do something about it. Gnocchi, my man.
Right.
No. That's actually what John Wayne says. He says, "Gnocchi, my man, do something."
Does he actually say that?
No.
After slashing this seeker on the last turn and being knocked and seeing the power of Dante's his new form, he turns his attention to Dante, and he takes his pistol and kind of just puts it back into his abdomen, just a few inches away, and he's gonna fire 3 shots. So the lowest one was 15.
All right. The 15 does not hit him.
Right. And then the next one was 23, and then a crit.
No, that doesn't hit.
Oh man.
That crit.
I know. I'm sorry, Ryan. He actually has an ability. He gets to avoid all damage once. Just once. He never gets to use it again, though.
Oh, Nucky begins to sob.
As he should. So what actually happened?
Nucky saw this damage would have done 28. As he fires 2 shots into this guy, and on the third one, Dante knocks the gun away from him, missing the 3rd shot. In his other hand, Nuki's other hand, he kind of has his sword, but instead of swiping with it, you see him wrapping something around one of his wounds, applying something as I use my second wind.
I think this might be the first time Yoki's ever used second wind. But yeah, these two shots ring true into his abdomen, and he has been blown back as you feel the shots. I'm gonna go straight through the back, and the areas that this black ichor was kind of spreading to heal him. It's kind of splattered across the back wall. And you can't see his eyes, but it seems like he might want to kill you.
Ow.
Only a tad, though.
He can try.
Yeah, right.
So Illigith sensing this vile grimace on the face of the abomination. The two guys that were thrown against the wall are question mark.
Yeah. So those two seekers that were thrown against the wall are now up, and I'm not looking, but staring at Gnocchi, basically moving towards him with their sabers up, ready to stab.
All right. Also focusing on the hulking figure in front of both Illigith and Gnocchi. Illigith, his inner being, his soul reaches out to gather any energy nearby that will flow into him. And he approaches Dante with kind of shield up next to him and with a large uppercut in this divine streak of light smashes again into the abdomen where Gnocchi's pistol just hit its mark with a level 2 smite.
Yeah, smite.
That's going to be a 16.
That hits.
Yes. So I'm going to do this separately. So that's 2d8 plus my damage. 13 plus 6. That's going to be 19 damage. And 13 of that is radiant damage.
All right, I was going to ask that.
And as he reels back to do the same thing in the exact same spot again, is there anything that occurs?
Yes. So what occurs as you slam your fist into this guy's abdomen? You can actually feel as your hand coated in that golden light.
Yes, it is.
All right. As it smashes into him, you actually go through the part of his abdomen that was being covered by this black ichor, and you see that he spits some out, and gets on your face. He's a pretty big guy, and as you pull it out, you can see a noticeable gap, a hole in there where the black is trying. This black goop ichor is trying to reform itself into the shape of his abdomen, but it can't. And you hear a sizzling sound.
All right.
As though, yes.
And so Illigith, with this grimace, this a face that is the embodiment of righteous justice, grimaces with this black ichor now splotched on it as he reels back to slam his fist straight in that hole and up through the body of Dante with his second attack. That is also a level 2 smite. Ballsack. Nope. I'm going to channel my inspiration pool once more. With a 21 to hit.
Indeed.
So that's going to be max damage on the first one. 13 plus 6. With another 19. And that will be 7 points of radiant damage.
All right.
As I attempt to for lack of a better analogy, perform a Mortal Kombat style move and shove my fist as far up this guy's abdomen and into his chest cavity as I can.
And as you do so, you feel your hand grip something as it smashes into the chest cavity, and you feel pulsing this disgusting putrid energy. A crystal.
I grab it.
Yes, you do. What do you do with said crystal?
I rip it out as hard and with every fiber of my being.
All right, you rip the thing out, and with it, just this pool of this black blood just spurts out. You do so, and you see Dante, his face lower and look. I'm right into yours as the mask begins to crumble away. And as it falls to the ground with a clatter, you see the familiar face of Lokir the Oak. And he looks into you, his eyes still filled with hatred and black, as he disintegrates into black dust.
Okay. So Illigith, seeing his father in front of him crumble into ashes, the world around him is as if it ceases to rotate, and time is elongated, seconds lasting what seem like hours, as his head spins the unthinkable before him, and he lets the crystal that was in his hand fall to the ground, taken aback.
The crystal falls to the ground, bouncing once, twice, skittering as it too disintegrates into black dust.
Holy crap.
The Seekers, one dead by Malvadrian's feet, the other in front of Gnocchi, they all jump back. Go ahead and take an opportunity attack, Ryan.
Ready.
What was it?
14 actually.
14?
Yeah.
All right, so what weapon was this with?
A short sword.
All right, so he evades the short sword as you try and slash out at him. And the three Seekers that remain get together, and and at their feet, the sigil once again appears, and they disappear in a glowing, blinding flash of golden light. And the only thing that remains is the pile of black dust at the feet of Eligith the Lionheart. The erratic humming of the crystal begins to cease as Jontwin hurriingly sputters out these words, and it begins to crack. The crystal that was floating falls into the pedestal with this big crack in it. And Jontwin, looking exhausted, falls to his knees and begins to breathe in and out. Malvadrian, the pain in your chest at this point is almost like one of the worst things you ever felt. Almost as bad as being stabbed by a flaming sword. And in your head, you see these black, voidless eyes say, "Yes, yes, my child. Give in. Give in to it. It feels good, does it not? To let out your anger." To see the wrongs that you've been committed, right it? This is good, Malvadrian von Silas. You are on the right path. I await you in the wood. Come. Come and find me. There. There you will find true solace. And the pain ceases. Almost as quickly as it had come, it dissipates. What happens? Who's the first? Oh, who's the first to say anything after all that?
So I would assume that the kind of ferocity that he exhibited earlier kind of gets tempered by that, and kind of a mixture of realization and horror kind of quell that sense of retribution, and it kind of comes to this very sober realization that he's playing right into the matron's hands. And he kind of just stops for like almost in a trance, oblivious to everything around him. And nobody attacked him the prior round, right? This one that just happened, right? They were all kind of focused on other things, bigger things.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that the psychological like invasion just kind of really just took the wind out of his sails. And how many of them are still left standing, if any? I missed that part.
The Seekers are gone.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought so. Yeah, he just kind of just is in shock and just is oblivious to the fact that they're gone. And just kind of stands there, kind of staring off empty into space. Oh, and then also like the purple, voidless black eyes that had consumed him earlier kind of return to that pale, silvery blue as everything kind of sinks in. Yeah.
I would say something, but I feel like Nyoki would probably get to whatever he was going to do before Illigith breaks the stupor he's in.
I wasn't here for like any of it.
Well,
I wasn't here, so I don't know what happened.
well,
What was the last thing you heard?
I think Logan was talking.
Rip Malvadrian monologue to himself. His soliloquy.
Oh no, the crystal really gets ripped out.
You didn't miss much. Malvadrian had his realization of the hags messing with his head.
The matrons.
And Illigith is, dropped the crystal. It disintegrated, and he is standing there in a stupor, staring at the. Did the mask disintegrate too, or is the mask sitting there on the pile of ashes?
The mask is sitting there in the pile of ashes.
Staring at this mask.
And what happened with the crystal?
It disintegrated.
Okay. That's what I thought I heard. That's what was said.
It was black, right?
Yes, it was.
No, the crystal, John Wayne's crystal.
Oh.
That crystal cracked, stopped humming, and is now laying in the pedestal, not floating.
Okay. I guess just to be sure, Noki, he'd take the time to reload his pistols. He doesn't want to be caught off guard just in case. He never knows when they'll show up, especially after the crystal falls. But after that, he kind of his adrenaline stops and kind of just falls to his knees and kind of stares at the ground.
Jontwin gets up from the ground, shaking, still holding the amulet in his hand. I was able to sever the connection. The connection between them. There should be no more on the way. I closed it. What in the hell were those things? Was that thing? And he points at the pile of black dust with the mask that Illigith is staring at.
A few more seconds of silence pass. I never got to say goodbye to my father. And it appears that He lies before me now. Kind of closes his eyes. The others. The others up top. Surely they need help. There must be wounded among them. And he goes to take the stairs to leave.
Yes, go. I'll come with you.
What do we see when we leave the room?
In the room, you see, or when you leave the room, you see that the guild hall is in shambles.
Before this, apologies. As Illigith goes to turn away from the ashes in front of him, he turns his gaze away and then quickly looks back, reaches down, and grabs the remnants of the mask, stowing them away, and makes his way up the stairs. Anyway, go ahead with the guild hall.
Yeah. The guild hall is in shambles. The long tables smashed. There are small fires that are spread throughout the room. Papers lie everywhere. Documents lie everywhere. Broken weapons scattered about. You see some of the gnomes, and they're hurriedly trying to put out the flames as a few of them are carrying back some gnomes that looked like they were wounded in whatever happened in here. Looks like they were wounded by sabers or blades. And some of them have their hair singed off. And they're hurriedly trying to attend to them, put out fires, and things of the like. And Wesley is not here.
Hey, dude, sorry.
I just called him. His Wi-Fi went out. He reset it already, and he's trying to restart.
Okay.
So we see. Shoot! I just told him we were waiting on him.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and take a small break. It won't be too much longer now.
I have a question that maybe I should just ask you myself, but too bad. Did Illigith get the actual sense that the face that he saw wasn't just in his head? Or is that going too far with the question? Is he completely confused, or was the thing in front of him his father? Like, it's okay for you to say that he's not sure.
Yeah, so the face,
Like, based on the structure, was the humanoid
bodily
like
structure.
Goliath size, sort of?
Yes.
Okay. That's pretty much all I needed.
All right.
I wasn't
Would
sure.
Nokia-
Yeah, sorry.
Did Noki see this too? Because he was looking at Dante.
Possibly you would have seen the mask fall off, and you would have seen the face of another Goliath.
Okay.
It would look very similar to mine.
I would figure. Noki is taking mental notes, but his mentality isn't all there right now.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, look who's back.
Are you there? Your mic?
Yeah, we can't hear you right now.
Nope.
Half of him is back. His face is back.
There you are. Is he not back?
Nope.
No, he's not back. I thought I heard a fan.
Yeah, I still can't hear him. You can do it, Wesley, I believe.
No.
How about now?
Yes,
Yep.
that did it.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Okay, so I believe where did you cut out?
Long silence. I heard there's a silence before you responded or something like that. Like he
Oh,
asked
okay.
he asked a tough question and there was silence.
Um,
I need to re-immerse myself.
yeah. So
Life is
Illigan,
pain. Okay.
so Illigan took a moment, and he said, "I never got to say goodbye to my father." And looking down at the thing, and now that he lies in front of him, and then he quickly tried to change the subject, saying that there must be wounded outside. And before he left, he picked up the remnant of the mask in front of him, and they rushed upstairs.
Was there any context like I know like us as players, yes, but like our characters, like we have any context of like why you said like you never got to say goodbye to your father?
So apparently, I think it would have been relevant that this stature was very similar to mine and Goliath-like.
Oh.
Yeah, not just a hulking large human.
I thought he was a really, really like mountain of meat type.
So did I.
Letho type
Yeah, right.
character.
That's what I thought too. But no. So the characters would have seen that it was similar in stature, like it could have been a Goliath, and then I say that. So.
Holy crap.
Yeah, my bad. Probably went a little too far with beating around the bush on there. But yeah,
It's okay.
Holy, you son of a bitch.
It's okay. It made the we did not see that curveball coming at all. So.
Yep.
So yeah, he was describing the guild hall above.
How you like that silver?
Okay, Guild.
Life is pain. Life is pain.
Oh, so many tattoos, so many symbols. What do they mean?
I can't keep track of her.
Yeah, like every single week I get a new tattoo.
All right, go ahead, Molly, with the guild hall.
Yeah. The shorthand, the guild hall is in ruins. There are small fires scattered about that some of the gnomes are trying to put out. There are other gnomes that are carrying injured gnomes to the medical bay where maybe a Koveg was when y'all were down there earlier. And so that's what y'all would see in front of you.
And Illiga, totally trying to blank his mind from everything that just occurred, runs out, sees the chaos, and 1 second.
Father?
So it would is it like that there are tables in here, being the guild hall kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There would have been like this, and Ryan, feel free to or jump in if you want, but there would have been like this pretty long table. I assume some workstations, workbenches, or documents, and there are some intricate technologies where various gnomes have been working on various different projects and things like that, but everything is in shambles.
Okay. Get the wounded. Take them. Put them on the table. Please, quickly. And as he kind of tries to brush everything off of this long table and motion the gnomes to take their wounded and lay them out on this table.
The gnomes look at you, and I'm quickly nod and I hurry over and I place the wounded on the table. There are 4 of them with slash and burn marks.
Okay. So the one of the one that is of the most attention, maybe not responsive, or that looks worst off. Illigith is going to run up to and please, any supplies, bandages that you can come find. He's just kind of frantic, and he's going to kind of use a medicine check between these badly wounded gnomes to see who he needs to attend to first.
All right, go for it.
With a 13.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, he's going to go to the one that needs it the most and parcel out. How many points do I have?
D&D math was low.
Yeah, I know. I can't. So I'm gonna. He's gonna be. He's gonna be trying to like feel around these wounds and grab at whatever bandages he can. And just as he bandages this very wounded gnome, it just kind of life is imbued back into him. And I don't know. I'm for a random amount of hit points.
Yeah, that's
well,
fine.
because Illigith can't control that anyway, so just go ahead and say a random. I'm gonna roll I'll roll a d12. And that's 12 points. There you go.
All right. So yeah, the slash marks that at this point you can pretty much assume those from a seeker. These slash marks kind of close up the fire or the damaged skin begins to soften, get less red, and you can feel the heat leaving it into your palm as you go over healing these, and these gnomes begin to cough, and all of them are stable or fine.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Roll
Roll the
again.
d12 a couple more times.
Naoki would look at two of the gnomes that are in better condition and that are like help moving people, and he'd send them outside to find our friends that we brought with us but didn't bring inside.
All right.
To check on them and see if they need help.
All right. And and with that, the two gnomes or these gnomes nod. They go off. I'm about to go get them, and actually, you feel a hand go on your shoulder, Nyoki, and you look back, and it's this gnome with crazy blue hair. This this mustache that has been singed half off, and these goggles on his forehead. And I'm your friend Hequist, and he says, "Hoveg is okay. Everyone in the medical bay is fine. We didn't let them through." And so you got motions to a gun on his side of this big rifle.
Naoki doesn't know what to say. He kind of tears up after seeing Hequist and Hequist talking to him after all this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since they've actually talked or had any conversation other than what happened in the war. Naoki in this mental state he's not used to. He tears up more than he thinks he would, and instead of saying anything, he just turns and gives Hequist the biggest hug he's ever given anybody.
And Tequist, I'm like, oh, jeez, Gnocchi. It's fine. Everything's gonna be all right, Gnocchi. We're good. We're good. Everyone's all right. We're good.
He just holds for a little bit longer and nods into him.
Yeah. And at first, he would kind of return it hesitantly, but then you'd feel the same amount of force being returned to you.
Malvadrian, where are you?
So I would probably just be out of the way at this point. I'm kind of, I'm not super useful in the medical arena, so he would just kind of get out of his way, and just kind of like sit up against, be a ranger and just find a corner to go sulk in.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to decide. Is Gnocchi and Hequist, are they far from where the kind of triage is going on, or?
No.
Okay, yeah. So there's kind of this warm presence, large warm presence gets that kind of appears behind Gnocchi as he feels a rather massive hand, on his shoulder beside him, just kind of there as well as he hugs Hequist. There's a little lay on hands action going on, but that's beside the point.
Gnocchi feels slightly warmer at this.
I was really tempted to come in there and also join the hug and cast Cure Wounds, but it's not in character, so I won't do it. Life is pain.
Everything is suffering.
New tattoo.
And I literally see Illios like off in the distance, like looking at Mal, like waving at him.
Yeah.
Trying to get Mal in on a group hug.
What does Mal do?
He stares them down.
Hell yeah.
And looks away in pain.
Sharpen that edge. Hone it.
I'm a lonely loner on a lonely road.
I wish that... I can't even do it anymore. Okay. And actually, on the group hug, you feel another set of my hands.
And then another. And then another.
I'm not sure why we're hugging, but this is beautiful. Get the hell off them, Raymond. Dahlgren pulls Raymond back. From back and Dahlgren is actually looking around like, what the hell happened in here? We didn't hear a thing from up there.
Are there dogs in the Gnomish Hall? I'm so immersed in this world.
These are not dogs. These are our steeds.
Steeds?
They're like your horses, yeah.
Yes.
Little chihuahuas, gnomes.
They are not chihuahuas. They are wiener dogs.
You know, like the Great Horde, like Genghis Khan.
Oh
Imagine
my
that,
God.
but gnomes and like little corgis.
No, they're no wiener dogs.
No, wiener dogs.
When he saw it,
Little tiny legs.
they're great for getting around the forest because reasons.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
I'm so immersed in this world, this lonely world full of pain
It's suffering.
and
It's
loneliness.
sadness.
Dolgrim, we were attacked by foul celestial.
And his expression darkens, like, damn it, I wish I had been down here. We didn't hear a thing. Didn't even know anything was going on.
It is okay. You are safe.
I guess, but these... Yeah, I guess Illios.
And he kind of nods at Dolgrim for not fighting that.
Yeah, you can see he's kind of looking around, and it's
That's kind of like a stern expression from Illigit to Dolgrim when he says, at least you're safe.
yeah. He was looking around, looking at everything, and it definitely seemed like he was going to say something else, but then he stuttered, and he said what he said. Reading the mood. Yeah, and John Wynn. No, not
What,
actually.
Ryan?
I was asking about John Wayne.
Oh.
As Mole said, John Wayne.
Hey, I'm on top of it, Ryan. I'm on it right now. All right.
Hey.
And yeah, right. I don't need you reminding me this time. Yeah. Slightly better than mediocre DM only. All right. I have to work.
Not today.
Yeah, I was like, I have to work for that title. Apparently, John Wynn come up. Like, it seems that everything is all right here, at least for now. It seems like they were able to use the crystal in my study to bypass the force field, this barrier that I'd set up around the guild. But I severed the connection. The crystal holds no more power. But that means the barrier is also down. Bolster our defenses even more. But you three, you need to go to the hags. Find them. Rescue those children. And end the curse on Koveg. It does not have long. A day or two at most. But I still don't know how we can find them.
Dramatic turn.
Maybe the Dryads may know.
Cough. Ow.
Dry. What?
We don't know how to find them.
I mean, I don't know how to find them either. They said go to the woods.
We didn't hear that.
It's not going to help the situation.
Come on, bro.
Life is pain.
Oh, thank you, Logan. All right,
I mean,
you're cursed as well. Wait 1 moment. And Jontwin scurries back to his study. 48 hours pass and he comes back.
Whoa. Koveg's dead.
Yeah, no, like a minute.
Life
past.
is pain. Get used to it.
Life is pain and suffering.
Lacey has a tattoo.
That'll be the name of this session. Life is pain and suffering. So yeah, John comes back, and he holds a small little trinket with and it just looks really weird, like the small like little golden trinket, and he puts it on, and he gets on his tiptoes and reaches for the curse mark on your chest. Rip curse mark, but that's what it is. On your chest, and he closes his eyes and concentrates.
Mal's trigger finger twitches.
It's a good.
It's a reflex. It's a reflex.
It's all right. Illigit doesn't notice.
Unconscious.
It's a good thing life is pain and suffering, because that's he mutters some words under his breath in a gnomish, and he brings his hand back, slightly wincing, as there is a sort of a mark of burned into his hand. And with that, he clutches the pendant, a little trinket that he gave. And you see a small trail of smoke begin to rise from the trinket. And he takes it away, and the mark that was on your chest is now on this pendant.
Hmm?
And he, do not worry, it is just a merely more advanced divination spell. Only minor pain, a tiny bit. I'm not cursed, don't worry. And he hands it to...
secrets. Why would you do this?
Wait, what did you say?
He was.
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah. And he'd hand it back to you. And
Reaches out hand.
We can't hear you, Wesley.
Waking up so I can't anymore. Not because it'll like speak, and then like 5 seconds will pass, and then you can like be muted, or you guys can't like connection wise can't hear me.
There, I think it cleared up. But I
Hello?
can't. Like the visuals are real choppy.
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
But,
Sorry, dudes. My Wi-Fi is like
on the fridge.
trying to. Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And Malvadrian would just so we're talking about like who is he giving it to, and Malvadrian would just kind of reach out his hand.
Yeah, give it to you.
Yeah.
And put it on. There's who
Didn't make
runs.
that sass. Yeah, he puts it on. And you said it was this golden amulet, and it now has that symbol on it.
Yes. And as soon as you put it on, an image flashes. Yes.
Ooh.
An image flashes through your mind of the deep wood where you were before you were able to find your way out, and with the help of Giovanni and the Dryad, and you see this dark passage encroached with these gray-black vines, these tendrils, and thorns and everything in the deep wood. Something that you all did not see before, and within the darkness that you can see, through this, seemingly tunnel, you can hear whispers. Come to me, Silas, my child. And then you're back.
I know
Those
where we must
essentially-
go.
Yeah. Essentially, with this pendant, you'll be able to find your way through the deep wood. Huzzah, indeed.
Again, I know where we must go.
Rest for a bit if you have to, but make it quick. We pain is suffering. No. Rest quickly if you need to. Gather yourselves and go. Destroy them. Fine. Killing the matron should end the curse. And beside him, you hear a Hekwa's voice again. Although before you go, this might be pretty helpful. And he hands something to Gnocchi that he's been waiting for like 4 or 5 sessions now. What does that look like?
Noki's eyes grow wide. The pain that he is feeling and has been feeling kind of lifts away. As this work that he himself created and designed. He didn't build it himself, but he designed it. This shotgun of sorts is handed to him.
The Heckwist looks at you with half of his glorious blue mustache burned away and winks. Not quite as good as you or Koveg, but I think I did a pretty damn good job.
Noki starts looking over it. I couldn't have done better myself, Equist. I thank you, brother.
And Heckwist looks at you, and his eyes begin to water slightly. And he's like, "You too, brother." Good job. And that is where we would end our session. And possibly a group hug.
Peace out.
This has been the slightly mediocre DMing from DM Moley, and that has been the 10th session of the Illios campaign. Yeah, that's about it.
Woo!
Bye-bye. Hopefully next time we'll be able to see Ryan's beautiful face.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Oh my.
Damn right.